All right, the first thing I want to start with is to figure out where you are with .cam use. And I have a document up here that asks you where you are, 3 different levels of options. So the first one is that you're experienced and comfortable with both the camera and the Hovercam Flex software, which is what I'm in right now. Second one is experience with .cam but not the software. And then the last one is limited experience with the .cam and software. So the instructions on this are to place a piece of paper in the area that describes your level of comfort. So it's going to be a little tricky with this many people, but I do want everybody to take like a small piece of paper and put it in the area that you feel you best fit. So wherever you can find a piece of paper, I can have some spares for you if you need them. All right, so you can see we're kind of a little over the spectrum here. We have a lot of people feeling pretty comfortable, a lot of people somewhere in the middle, and a good number of people limited experience with both. All right, so looking at the software, I want to take you through some of the features as well as show you how you might even be able to use this in a lesson. So at this point, I'm going to be trying to help you understand the different features and how it functions within this software. So basically, when you have this image under here, you don't need to do anything. You can drag it anywhere you want just by clicking and dragging. But you can also zoom just by rolling on your wheel. So you don't need to mess around with, moving it this way and that. Same thing with the straightener over here. If it was kind of cockeyed, you can crop it to get the stabilization that you want. So when you think it's good and that's the crop you want, then you could take a picture. Well, I'm going to want to get it out a little bit so I can see everything. And so I'm going to snap that picture. Now I have that saved, and I can get rid of this. All right, so I don't even have to mess with all those loose pieces of paper anymore. But let's say I did, just for fun's sake. And I have this under here. If I cancel the crop, so this is where you can adjust what's under the camera. If I just cancel the crop, then I can still zoom in and position it where I want. If I want a little more screen and I don't want all this stuff over here, then I can choose from these view options down here. So the actual size takes it to that. This brings it back, and then if I want full screen and get rid of all those controls, which is what I probably would do most of the time, then you can choose a full screen. So if you want to annotate over top of that, and this is where the benefit of using a document camera really comes in, because you can annotate over top of it, save that image, and use it as a reference point later. I could put all this stuff on the board and then do everything that I want to do over top of that, but then that's gone the moment I erase that. And to bring it back is much more difficult. So one of the benefits of using a dot camera is everything that you do, you take the snapshot of it and then bring it up at the beginning of the next class period, or when you go to review at the end of the unit, it's archived for you. And that's a big benefit, I think. So if I want to annotate this, I can open this up, and let's say I want to do percentages, right? This is always scary ground for me because I usually make myself look like a fool because I get tripped up by like intermediate to elementary math. So I'm going to scroll in a little bit, and here's my annotation tool. So just a basic scroll through. I can do shapes. So if I wanted to define the space that we're going to be focusing on, I'm just going to do that real quick. So that's the space we're going to focus on, and we need to figure out the percentage of people that feel very comfortable and experienced with this document camera. So can somebody count the number of pieces of paper? How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we got 9, all right? So if I want to write that in, I can do a free flow. That's the squiggly line, which allows me to write anything I want. So I could do 9 there. And then if I want to type it in, I can just choose text, and then wherever I click on, I can make that number or type whatever letters I want. So squiggly line, freeform drawing, and then the T for text allows you to type in whatever you want. So whatever you enter, if you want to move that around or resize it, the arrow always allows you to go back and resize it. So now if I click that arrow and click on it, I can move it around. So I have that. Now I guess you have to choose your font control before you do it. So if I choose that, then go to my text. So when we figure that out and do the math, I could showcase whatever I want up here, and then that final percentage could be how I demonstrate the math behind figuring out percentages. All right, and then as I move down on this, I'm going to clear it, and then move down on this and reset my frame, and then do the same thing with this group. And then next time I would have the students participate more and try and do more of the we do format, figure out that percentage. And if I want to get rid of that, then I can scroll down to the bottom one and have them do it on their own and give feedback to me or tell me what the answer is. If I want to do color changes, I can go down here and choose whatever color I want. And you can see that my paper is actually moving as I go, and I don't want that to happen. So if I want to use the image that I took, I can just double click on that, and now it's a stable image that I can do whatever I want with and get rid of that. So now if I go to edit, it brings up my annotation tools, and I don't have to worry about trying to keep whatever I have underneath the camera straight. A couple other features that could be useful are the line thickness. So sometimes you might want to highlight something. I would generally choose a pretty thick line. And then this circle down here is for transparency. So if you click that and then slide the transparency this way, it'll make it more see-through. I'm sorry, left. So I'm going to choose yellow, and if I want to highlight that, then I can choose my line and highlight something. And the same is true if I didn't want it to be transparent. I could do just a solid line, make it less transparent, and there it is. So whatever I've done on this picture, like I said before, one of the benefits of doing it on the document camera is that it can be saved for future reference. So now that I have that done, I click Save As, and it brings up, it's set up to be saved in a specific folder, probably something that says Hovercam, and then you can just name it test or whatever it is. So whenever you click Save As, you can choose where you want to save it to. So if you expand your options, you could save it to your desktop, or if you went down into your network drives, you could save it there as well. Yep, wherever you choose. I believe JPEG is the standard. Yep. Yep. So within the tool itself, there's ways for you to organize all your files. So if you go to your main screen and go to Archive up top, it has a bunch of pre-made folders for you. But you can see all of these images that I've saved are already here for me. So if you want to make a new folder, you can just right-click New Folder, and these instructions are on that document. So in case you're not getting all of this, that's okay. So if I click New Folder, then I can name it whatever I want. go back to my library here, and then select the ones I want to put in there and just drag them over.
You can't just drag it over the folder itself?
I could just drag it to the folder too, so I could select them all at once, and then should be able to put them in there. Looks like you have to drag them over to that side. So you could have your folders for different class periods, courses, even students. I think a special ed teacher could keep track of what a student can do and keep progress over time, and just name the file, name, date. And when it comes for IEP evaluations, they could look at, well, this date, this is what they were writing at this amount of time, and at this date, here's the progress, and it will give you a side-by-side comparison. But I think as a general classroom teacher, if I did that percentage thing, if I go back to my folder and I want to bring that back up, not that we did that very well, but I could bring that up and then be like, okay, so who can tell me how we figured out this percentage yesterday? And that is a great way to link the previous day's lesson and then build into whatever you're doing the next day. Whereas if you did that all on the whiteboard or somewhere else, it would be more difficult to have that seamless transition. If you look here, when you open an image, you do have the option to export it to Dropbox, Picasa, or Evernote. There isn't a Google Drive export option, unfortunately. But you can email it, print it, do a variety of other things. Yeah, so if you just go into wherever your pictures are saved, then you can just drag that image into whatever folder you want, and then you can bring it up. That's my scary alien-looking child surrounded by Christmas lights. And then I could edit it and then do whatever I wanted with it. So I didn't show the arrow. The arrow feature could be useful, and it's not the pointer arrow. That's one thing that gets kind of confusing. The big one is to select, but down here, if you want to draw an arrow to indicate something, let's say a piece of text or an object, then you could select that arrow and then draw there and say, look at his smile, or whatever it is you want to draw more attention to. So you could get, I don't know how useful it would be to use all the annotation tools up here. If you're projecting onto a whiteboard, you could just circle stuff if you wanted to do a quick thing, but then the annotations won't save when you take the picture. So that's one of the drawbacks there. So as you get a little more fluid in its use, then you can do it more quickly and not get tripped up. So if you start with some basic annotations, then I think it will make the use of it a little more or a little less cumbersome.